Hello and welcome to video number 6, buckets and folders. Now that you have connected to your S3 account, what we need to do now is create buckets, and within that bucket, we need to create folders so then you can actually upload files to those folders. So starting where we left off in the previous video, then you should see a list of buckets underneath. Or if you've created a brand new account, then of course you will not have any buckets. To create a bucket, it's very, very easy. And think of buckets kind of like either they are separate companies, separate departments. They're not necessarily folders because you have folders within that particular bucket. So what I like to do is I like to create a bucket for each new domain name. So that way I can segment them, I can separate things, and I know, okay, this file is connected to this website. Now you can separate it however you wish and create as many buckets as you want, but I just wanted to kind of show you what we do. So assuming you have clicked the source, you've chosen your Amazon S3 main account, you will see the buckets here. Now, as you can see, I have 4 buckets, but within those buckets, I've got a lot of files within there. Now, to create a bucket, it's easy. All you have to do is click on the blue square icon. Then what we do is we create a bucket name. And keep in mind that you want to name it using a naming convention so that you know what that bucket is. Now, the next thing is it's going to ask you for your bucket location, meaning are you going to upload the files to a server within a certain region like Singapore, Sydney, Australia, Tokyo, Seoul, Korea, Europe, or the US. Now, before you decide on choosing what bucket, I know most of people will choose a bucket that is closest to them. Instead, I recommend that you choose a bucket that is closer to the majority of your audience. So yes, if you're in the US and most of your audience is within the US, then choose that bucket. If you find that you're in Sydney, Australia, but most of your audience is within the US, then I recommend choosing that. Now, the next thing, it's going to ask you for storage class, but I would leave it at standard and I'll click OK. So now it's created the bucket. So we can see it is test domain DL. I'm going to double click that. And there we go. Now I can create folders, as you can see here. So I can click new folder. We can create maybe videos folder, create a audios folder, and create an images folder, and whatever folders that you decide to create. And then of course you can go within the folder and then you can upload the files. Now I'm going to show you how to upload and transfer files and the specific settings that I have it set on and all of that in the future videos. But I wanted to keep it simple and show you how to create a bucket. So you see, back in the day, you would have to log into the Amazon dashboard and create a bucket there. But now that you have the program, which is what I highly recommend that you do, now you can create all the buckets inside the program and you're good to go. So with that said, let's move on to the next video. Welcome to video number 7, prevent unauthorized access. In this particular video, we are going to discuss how to protect your Amazon bucket so that other people cannot share the links to their friends and to other sites. And thereby what happens is you end up paying for people pirating your links. We have seen other people forget this crucial step and end up paying a lot of money in Amazon S3 at cost. Now, of course, while the costs are low, you're still paying for other people hot linking to you. So I'm going to teach you a specific way of developing an Amazon access policy that tells the bucket and says to it, unless somebody comes from a specific site, which is your site, deny them access. So let me go ahead and do that now. So to create a bucket policy, all you have to do is locate your bucket. So in this case, it's going to be test domain DL. I'm going to right click and click on bucket policy. Now, this is going to kind of look like code, and it's going to look complex and overwhelming. And that's a fact. It is true. But since most of you are newbies, I'm going to show you how to create a bucket policy by getting a swipe file from Cloudberry. Now, in this case, I'm going to go back to Cloudberry. So I recommend that you go to cloudberrylab.com. They're always coming out with the latest, greatest updates, and that's really why I like Cloudberry. But if you go to their blog and you look for their search here, and you type in Amazon S3 hot linking, so Amazon S3 HOT linking, you go here, and you do a search, they'll actually give you the hot linking script. So click here, and I'm going to show you how to customize the script in a minute. So you don't need to know programming or anything like that. You don't have to read any of this. In fact, if you read this, it might be overwhelming. So just follow me along. You're going to scroll down and you're going to find this script right here. So we're going to highlight everything in blue. So from here all the way up here. So we're going to highlight that. You're going to click copy, and then we're going to transfer it over here. Now, before we do that, I want to put this in Microsoft Word, and we're going to make the size bigger, and we're going to customize the script. I'm going to show you how, and then we'll copy that finalized code over to the Cloudberry system. So I'm going to go ahead and copy it here. We're going to make it big enough so that you can see it. Where it says my bucket, you can leave the slash, but you're going to replace my bucket with the bucket name. So in this case, my bucket name is test domain DL. That's all you have to do. And we say allow get request referred by blah. So all this is right here is it's a note to you to tell you that you're going to allow requests referred by a specific domain. So you're going to put that yourdomain.com. And then next where it says AWS refer, what this means is that in this case, cloudberry.com. So you're telling the system that whatever files I upload into this bucket, only and only if somebody comes from cloudberry.com. Or if they click on a downloadable file that is hosted, let's say, for example, on a WordPress site on cloudberrylab.com, then it'll work. So in other words, if somebody tries to steal your download page or your download links, or they try to share it with somebody else, it's not going to work. Or they're going to use a download manager, it's not going to work. So basically, you're going to enter yourdomain.com here. Now, it's going to show you other sites here. But what I recommend that you do is it says HTTPS. So unless you have a secure SSL certificate, you don't need the HTTPS. But if you want to make it so that in the future, if you add it in the future, then you could leave it as is. So you could put yourdomain.com, whatever that is, just replace this one here. So this one here is the regular HTTP without the www. So you could put yourdomain.com. So just a different variation of it. And then of course, you don't need this. Now, the comma is only here if you want to add new domains. So in other words, if you wanted to add, let's say, yourdomain.net, and then you want to add an additional one, you got to put a comma in between. Now, you just saw how it tried to underline it, right? So that's why we try to use Notepad. I wanted to use Microsoft Word because I wanted to show you how to do this. And then you put apostrophe and another apostrophe, and then you put whatever you need to put inside. So basically, you're saying anytime this domain, this domain, this domain, or this domain, traffic comes from that, or the download page is located on that, it will work. If it's not, it will not work. So that's basically all it means. So now what you need to do is copy this. I'm not going to save. I'm actually going to copy it into Notepad because I want to remove any type of formatting. And this is where I normally edit as well. I normally do it in here. But once you're done with that, all we have to do is copy this into the policy script. So we can actually delete anything that's in here. And then we're going to paste that in here. We're going to click apply. And of course it says policy contains invalid domain. So I added real live domains and it works. So now I got to click OK and that's it. And like I said, the newbie way, if you ever forget or you don't have access to Cloudberry whenever you're watching this video, simply go to google.com, look for an S3 bucket policy, make sure the word hot linking is in it, and you'll find a lot of ones here. And all you do is customize it and you're good to go.